The biggest distraction in this campaign, in my opinion, has been the use of identity politics, the usage of race, claiming that Bernie Sanders is a racist, claiming that Bernie Sanders is a misogynist, is a sexist, and all of his supporters are sexist and misogynist. That, to me, has been one of the biggest distractions in this campaign. And I really think that it has been intentional because it's very easy to distract people with identity politics because it really connects to people in a way that, to me, Lewis, it's an important part of our politics. It's an important thing to address people the way they want to be addressed. Identity politics has its place, but I think we've jumped the shark. Yeah. I think we've come to the point where even people like me, I'm fully aware of racism in America. I live it. I'm fully aware of white supremacy. I've experienced it. I understand it. But when it's used to manipulate a campaign such that you can't have a reasonable conversation about the issues because people keep throwing in these fatuous at best attempts to make Bernie Sanders out to be some type of racist, sexist, misogynist, then to me, it has become something that is not just negative, but something that almost needs to be ignored. And that's a real shame because it has its place. But when you use it too much, it becomes ineffective and people are turned off by it. What do you think, man?
Right now, I'm thinking of the whole Hillary Clinton super predator 90s thing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've heard people say, actually, I think it was Ice Cube who was talking about this, who said, how can you have a discussion about gangs and violence if someone like Hillary Clinton just says they're all killers and super predators?
Right.
We need to pass this legislation.
Right.
And so, maybe Hillary is not doing that this time around, of course. That would be a bit more dangerous. But that's what this reminds me of.
But here's the play. Here's the thing that's so frustrating about this. Instead of talking about that in context and in earnest, what they've done is say, let's level the playing field. Hillary has a jaded past on race at best. Let's just call it. She may not be an outright racist, and I don't care, right? Let's just say she has a jaded past that some things may need to be answered for. But instead of talking about that, they do everything that they can to pull Bernie Sanders down, to erase his participation in the civil rights movement. No, he was not a civil rights hero, but he was present for duty. But because of that, they have done everything. And by they, I'm talking about the political establishment. I'm talking about the media establishment. I'm talking about Hillary Clinton's firewall. I'm talking about black journalists. It's almost nauseating the extent to which they are going to play identity politics to the detriment of their own constituency. Because the conversations on economics that Bernie Sanders wants to have, those are things, Lewis, that people really could benefit from. But the only thing we're focusing on is, how many black people did Bernie Sanders hire? How many black faces were in his Iowa ad? Mm-hmm. Oh, he didn't have enough black faces in his Iowa ad, so Bernie Sanders doesn't think Black Lives Matter. This is the ridiculousness that is the 2016 election.
Yep, I was blown away when John Lewis stepped in front of that microphone and said, "I never saw him. I never saw Bernie Sanders,
but I saw Hillary."
Yeah, this is exactly it. But are they doing it because they feel that this actually works? I mean, do they even have evidence that this is winning them votes?
Man. It's effective as hell. I mean, it really is something, because this is the deciding factor for a lot of people. A lot of people aren't ready to talk about the economics that are the economic policies that would be more beneficial to them, but they understand the identity politics. And I've always likened identity politics to being like an antibiotic, right? It's proper, it's necessary, it can fix some things, but if you overuse it, it becomes completely useless. Mm-hmm. And this is why you see people like Donald Trump, who's able to come out and say anything and everything he wants to say and never be held accountable, because people are just immune. They're completely inoculated with identity politics. And I think it's to a detriment because it has its place, but the establishment, the Democratic establishment, in my opinion, has used it to control this progressive movement to its own detriment.